This feels so wrong, yet so right. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 RS. Or to put it in simple English, the most hardcore Cayman there has ever been. And it feels wrong because it is a 500 horsepower track monster that is also road legal, which means it is something like carrying a licensed gun with you. It's legally allowed, but there is something that will make you nervous about it. That is the sound of a 4-liter flat 6 naturally aspirated petrol engine. Oh boy, no electrification, no turbos, no spooling up, no blow-off valves, none of that. This is absolutely raw, primal screams. Now, talking more on the numbers, power figures, well, let's get to the specs, shall we? 500 horsepower, 450 Nm, 0 to 100 in a claimed time of 3.4 seconds. And well, these numbers, they might sound like a thing of the past. 500 horsepower isn't really top tier anymore. But with this car, let me tell you, the numbers do lie. The heart of the GT4 RS is shared with the 911 GT3, albeit with 10 horsepower less, since there had to be certain adjustments made to cram the engine in this layout. More specifically, it has been flipped 180 degrees, which meant alterations to the gearbox housing and exhaust manifold that have robbed the GT4 RS of that 10 horsepower. But since it's lighter, the power to weight ratio is better than a GT3. Alright, now while those numbers aren't too bad, here's a big one for you. You see, Hormuz, if you saw his review on the GT4 Spider, which gets the manual gearbox, he was going on and on about the 8000 RPM red light. Well, Hormuz, I see your 8000 RPM and I raise you 1000 RPM more because the GT4 RS gets 9000 RPM and the sound, well, forget about any adjectives. Listen to this. Oh my goodness. If your Apple Watch is telling you you're in a very loud environment, take it off and throw it out the window because this is the environment you absolutely have to and want to be in at all times. Alright, the other thing about the GT4 Spider that gets the manual gearbox, yes, a lot of driver involvement. And yeah, you have that nice rifle bolt action of the gearbox shifting. But trust me, this PDK is exactly what this car needs. On the track, you need super fast reflexes, super fast shifts, and that is what this gearbox offers. What's also nice is the fact that the ratios are closely stacked, which means you don't have to struggle to ring this engine like you do on the Spider. You can eke out a lot more, and the big part, you can hear a lot more of that engine. That's never gonna get old. That said, the PDK isn't all too gloomy. Put it in sport, that makes it shift even quicker, or nudge the gear selector in manual mode to use it as a sequential gearbox that gives you total control and ups the driver engagement. Now, Porsche is obviously known to decimate corners. Straight line speed, yes, it's well and good, but when the corners show up is when the real fun begins. And on the GT4 RS, oh boy, the experience is sublime. It is top tier stuff, really, because the steering is light and yet it is very, very feelsome. It is connected, it is direct. It just offers such a clear response of what is happening with the wheels, so you are in control at all times. Porsche, as always, has got the balance just spot on, and that is thanks to the chassis that has been retuned, along with the firmer dampers, wider track, new suspension geometry, spherical ball joints, and a lot of nerdy science. The end result is a car that has lapped the Nürburgring 24 seconds quicker than a GT4. As standard, the setup is for the track, but you can, at the push of a button, make it even tauter and stiffer. However, the one button you will end up pushing a lot is the 5.3 lakh rupee option, nose lift. if you ask me, it's not an option. You have to select it. And that does solve a lot of problems because the speed breakers are the biggest enemy of the GT4 RS. However, if you crap crawl over them, it's not really a problem. Little bit of planning and better anticipation. However, there will be some roads that are absolutely inaccessible, and well, you can't really do anything about that. It's not really the car's fault, it's our infrastructure that has to be developed. But once across the hurdles, it is a different beast. Every part in here has a purpose, and every part in here has one objective: to cut down lap time, to get this car around corners as fast as possible and offer the most unrivaled driving experience. Yes, it's not pure, it won't touch your soul like the GT4 Spider, but press on the accelerator and it will make it depart. All said and done, this is on a lovely stretch of tarmac road, and yes, there are some very good driving roads spread throughout the country, but to be honest, access, going there, taking this car there is going to be a bit of a challenge. If you manage to do that, nothing like it. However, it will need some planning. On concrete, you hear a lot of the road noise. Every single stone and pebble hits the underbody as you go along because these massive Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires are really sticky. They are really wide as well. So they chuck everything up on the underbody, and it just, it doesn't feel natural. You feel bad for the car almost. Mechanical sympathy is something you absolutely need with this car. Well, to be honest, I'm not doing complete justice to this car. It can do so much more, and if you drive it, it will let you hold on to the limit for as long as you want. But push it just a tad more and it will snap back. You almost remember Eminem. Your palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, you're nervous, and as soon as the engine opens up, you lose yourself. But the other thing that is very good on the GT4 RS are the brakes. I mean, for a track car, you need solid brakes. This one has the optional carbon ceramics, and well, they do the job just fine. However, they do come at a cost, 16 lakh rupees to be precise. The 410mm fronts and 390mm rear discs are hugely effective, especially on a track where steel brakes are prone to fade. So if you want the best stopping power, there is a price to pay. Now all of that handling magic is down to the aerodynamics of this car because it is quite strong in terms of aero. Up front, the carbon fiber bonnet gets two NACA ducts that channel air to cool the brakes. The front splitter can be manually adjusted for airflow. There are vents on the carbon fiber fenders that help relieve pressure in the wheel well, side vents that are part of the air intake that are bolted directly to the engine, and at the rear, the adjustable swan neck spoiler and a diffuser, all ready to make the car as planted on the road as possible. And yes, it might not be a pretty car in that sense, but it definitely is striking. The same goes on the inside where weight saving and functionality take priority. Plenty of Alcantara and carbon fiber, door pull straps and minimal equipment. Still, you get your basics like a touchscreen with CarPlay. Although not the slickest units, the rear view camera is fairly dated too, but all the necessary physical switches, thankfully, are not on a smudgy gloss panel. The other good bits are the chunky tacho in the center, a focused buttonless steering wheel, and the timeless chrono on the dash. However, like every option on every Porsche, the Weissach pack comes at a cost, 32 lakh rupees. Yes, it gets magnesium wheel, a lighter roll cage, titanium end tips for the exhaust, and lightweight glass at the rear, but you just can't overlook the price that catapults the GT4 RS into the 3 crore club immediately. Are there problems? Yes. Like I said, it's not an everyday car. If you buy this, you're going to have to take it out on a racetrack, and if you don't stay anywhere near those, well, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. It's going to be a big commitment because this is not just a toy. This is a very expensive track weapon that has to be driven on the track. Otherwise, factor in the cost of a flatbed, find yourself a lovely ribbon of tarmac, and then you enjoy your day. So to sum it up, it's not too difficult. If you're focused on track days, if you take that track time seriously, there are very few cars in the world that can offer what this does. And that is pure happiness. Even if it costs not of 3 crores, can you really put a price tag on that? I don't think so. Getting your hands on one will be a challenge in itself, but don't lose will, because this very well might be the last of the purebred drivers Cayman. The ones after this will have electrification meddling in, but safe to say, won't feel anywhere near as electrifying as the RS.